How you doing, guys?
Good.
Hi,
How are
Patrick.
you?
How are you?
I'm pretty good this week.
So last week, you had a day sober when you called in the show.
Mm-hmm.
How we looking now, Patrick?
Well, I don't know, 8 days, whatever it is.
That's awesome, Patrick.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. How you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, I didn't really do much this week. I just kind of, well, that's not true. I did a lot of
Posting on Facebook.
searching. What's that?
You did a lot of posting on Facebook.
Yeah, right. A lot of free time.
Yeah.
No, I just kind of laid low and really did a lot of searching myself. You know what I really want to do in life and get back, that kind of stuff.
And
What
do you want to do?
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? We're all waiting.
Yeah, like-
You know what, Patrick? I'll tell you what. We're going to put you on hold because we got to go to a break.
Oh,
And it's a
the
little tease
suspense.
to the audience.
What does he want to do?
We're going to
What does he
find
wanna
out
do?
what it is that Patrick wants to do with his life. He's 8 days sober. What do you think? You want to take any guesses?
I think-
a botanist.
He wants to, maybe now after watching the show tonight and listening, he wants to be an anthropologist.
Yeah.
I couldn't
he
blame him.
might move to the
Yeah.
Amazon
Or
Or
open
he
up a
wants to be a-
sobriety company.
or a radio talk
Or a
show
radio
host.
talk show host. You're listening to Clean Radio. Give us a call. The discussion continues at cleanradio.com. Let's get back to Patrick.
Yes.
And let's find out
Let's
how
find out
Patrick's
what
doing.
Patrick
We
wants
teased-
to do with your
Yay.
life.
Patrick, what is it that we're all waiting? What is it that you want to do with your life, Patrick?
Well, I haven't come to that conclusion in just a week. That's a pretty big question, but
We were totally kidding.
Yes.
no, I do know I enjoy being sober because I can actually enjoy things in life. You know, I can remember them. It's funny because every time I've called the last 5 or 6 weeks, you know, I was drunk, so I had to go back 2-3 days later when you posted on YouTube and actually watch it again because I didn't know what I said.
And you know, that's actually frightening in a sense because I used to
Blackout.
blackout. I mean, I one time, and this is no joke, I called up my sister. I was living in Florida. I called her up in Israel, and she's like, "Why do you keep calling me? We have had the same conversation 7 nights in a row." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I did not remember calling her.
Oh dear.
And I mean, that's what happens when we, you know, people. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day. It's like, it's very hard with alcoholics and addicts because we do a lot of bad things sometimes when we're drinking and using that we don't necessarily mean, but we've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick,
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear how your week was. And I want to hear what was hard about it.
Well, to be honest, I think the hardest thing about it was the boredom. When Friday came along and there was nothing to do, I think that was the hardest part about it.
So what'd you do?
I went to sleep.
Okay.
You know, I will say this does come up. I work with a lot of young people in recovery in their early 20s. And I think one of the most common things that I hear is, I'm bored. And I think that I'm bored and I have nothing to do, or I'm uncomfortable being alone, are all very different things. And it's about feeling comfortable and learning to relax and be in the silence. And that's not necessarily being bored. And I also think it is about, you know, I know for me, when I was first asked when I was sober, what are your interests? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What are your hobbies?
It's like a dating questionnaire.
I had no idea.
Right.
I had no idea what I liked. I didn't have any authors that I liked. I didn't have any, you know, films that I had just seen. I didn't have a favorite food. I didn't have a spiritual practice. I didn't know anything about anything. And so I think it's, instead of feeling like you're bored, it's almost like let yourself feel excited that you have this whole world that is now opened up to you that you will actually remember.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing. You could create new memories. You could create new experiences. When I used to say, to people, I'm bored, and they would say, you know why? And I'd go, no, why? And they'd go, because you're boring. And I remember when a person said that to me, I didn't get upset. I was like, you're right. When I was drinking, I was a boring guy. And I had to, the biggest thing I learned when I got sober, and I think all of us could almost relate to this, is I learned how to say yes. You know, people would say, hey, we're going somewhere, and I would say yes. And because I said that yes, I got to experience things I never would have experienced.
Right.
because I'm preconditioned, Patrick. I'm preconditioned to staying home. You know, you
I
give
think
me
a lot of us are.
Yeah, and it's like Netflix is like the worst thing to come around the pike for alcohol, because I could literally sit in front of Netflix, call Papa John's, and call it a night. And you know, some people call it isolation. I call it a cheap vacation. And but Patrick, I had to learn, and you're lucky. Like Elisa's saying, you're really lucky right now. Zoe, I mean, the same, very similar.
I mean, I was just thinking two things as well, Patrick. You know, the fact that when you drank and dialed, when you some part of you really wants to be clean and sober because you drank and dialed Clean radio station, which is awesome.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You didn't drink and dial an ex-girlfriend. Well, you might have done that too, but at least you called Clean Radio, which is awesome. So subconsciously, you want to be sober, which I think is really, really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed my life when I'm sober. You know, I think I stopped enjoying the getting high and the drinking a long time ago in my mid-teens, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I've had the best times of my life while I was sober. Of course, I mean, it was just hard for me to justify the whole drinking thing because it's not my drug of choice, and I did have the manageability. I was that what do you call that? I don't know. I was drinking every day, and nothing was going wrong in my life, so it's hard for me to justify putting it down. Even
But Patrick,
all my money on it.
Patrick, you just said something very important. You were drinking every day.
Right.
You know, that's a lot of drinking, because I'm guessing you just weren't sipping one beer.
No, not
Right.
really.
And last week you called in. It was actually really cool, right? You poured the 12-pack out.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so, sorry, Lisa.
No, I was going to say, Patrick, if you could do anything in the world, you could go anywhere, you could do anything, and fear or money was not an issue, what would you want to do?
Cliff dive in Costa Rica.
That's awesome.
Let's do it.
And let me tell you something. I actually have a really good friend of mine named Biggie who's sober and obviously his nickname, he's Big. And he lives in Costa Rica. He's one of my closest friends, Patrick. I'll tell you what, you ever get sober. I mean, not you ever get sober. You are sober. You ever get enough money together, whatever it is, and you go to Costa Rica, you got a place to stay with Biggie. Okay,
Cool.
and he will do whatever. I mean, the guy is he barters for a living. He literally, he trades things. And I love him. We were on a boat in Mexico together. You could look online. He's just an awesome guy. And I went skydiving in sobriety, Patrick. I'm scared of heights.
Mm-hmm. I think you should go online. You should start investigating Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And for you're in Austin, Texas, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm in a small town outside of Austin.
So you get yourself to Florida,
Yeah.
you get on a plane,
Yeah, it's not.
you fly to
Right.
Costa Rica.
And dream big. And that's what we're saying.
You have to.
We have a woman in the studio tonight, Zoe Tryon, who, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, I've never met her before, but you could she has a lust for life, to quote the great Iggy Pop. And I think all of us in the studio tonight have that thing where we...
I thought you were going to quote Biggie.
No, I'm not going to quote Biggie. Where we all in the studio tonight have that lust for life, that we've grown up in I grew up in a very Orthodox Jewish home, with a lot of confines, but I wanted to live a life, Patrick. You grew up in England and Australia, and you decided to move and just live your life. Elisa was an agent for years with the most amazing firms, and one day she said, I want to live my life. And you've gotten into this amazing profession. Patrick, you going to call us back next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Patrick, I'll talk to you on Facebook this week. Elisa will talk to you this week.
Yep, stay in touch.
All right, cool.
And look into trips to Costa Rica, Patrick.
I will.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.